the atomic bomb, a life of secret missions, accomplishments, and atomic destruction. So today we will be discussing a great scientist, Werner Heisenberg, as well as his correlations with the atomic bomb. First, I will run through a few quick slides about who he was as a person and scientist so you can get a little bit of background on really who he was, and then after that I can dive deeper into his specific involvement in the atomic bomb during World War II. Werner Heisenberg was born on December 5, 1902 in Würzburg. He was born to mother Annie Weckling and father Dr. August Heisenberg. His father was a professor at the University of Munich teaching about Middle and Modern Greek languages. This may have been the leader inspiration for Werner Heisenberg's future academic choices. He went to Maximilian School until 1920 when it was time for him to go to university. On the right here you can see a picture of Werner Heisenberg when he was younger. After attending Maximilian School in his youth, Heisenberg continued on to the University of Munich to study physics. In the winter of 1922, while he was still attending the university, he went to Göttingen to study physics under the likes of Max Born, Franck, and Hilbert. He then started his PhD in 1923. This same year, he became Max Born's assistant. He finally graduated with his PhD and then earned the title Venia Legendi from the university. This meant that he had authorization to teach at that university. His career was a whirlwind of lecturing and jobs. Right after receiving his PhD, he actually worked with Niels Bohr until 1925 at the University of Copenhagen, who would become very important to him in his near future, which we will talk about. He was a lecturer of theoretical physics at two universities. In 1929, he went on a lecture tour that went through the United States, Japan, and India. He later became a professor at the University of Copenhagen along with the University of Berlin. So, this is only a few of his scientific accomplishments, but he is well known for his theory of quantum mechanics, which he did win a Nobel Prize for, and also the uncertainty principle. The uncertainty principle shows that if you know the precise position of a particle, the unknown is greater in the measurement for momentum. And this is the same vice versa, where knowing the precise momentum of a particle means a greater unknown in the measurement of position. He also developed the idea of quantum mechanics and how that applied to the physics they were already practicing. So this is a part of modern physics. Many other scientists after Heisenberg built on his idea of quantum mechanics, and it now today is a study all of its own. You can learn about quantum mechanics as a class. He also was part of the German atomic program, and I will go more into detail on that in a couple slides here. But first, we're just going to go over a list of his accomplishments and awards he got over his lifetime. Again, these are just kind of a summary. There were more smaller ones in between, but here's just his quick overview. Apart from the medals he has received, he won a Nobel Prize in Physics. He received 2 honorary doctorates. He was the recipient of the Order of Merit of Bavaria, a Fellow of the Royal Society of London, a Knight of the Order of Merit, President of the German Research Council, President of the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, and a professor and lecturer at many universities over his lifetime. He also received the Max Planck Medal, Pour le Mérite, Matteucci Medal, and the Niels Bohr International Gold Medal. So this picture, it's not important to the development of his story, but it is kind of a fun fact. Heisenberg was a classical music enthusiast, and you can actually see him here. He's the one playing the piano. So this is a little bit about the atomic side of what he was involved in. Heisenberg was the main drive behind the German atomic program, which was competing with the United States' well-known Manhattan Project. So in 1941, 16 years after first beginning to work with Bohr, he returned to his own old colleague and discussed nuclear research. The Nazi architects wanted to take this knowledge on nuclear reactions and turn it into a nuclear weapon, but Heisenberg didn't even see this as being a possibility. He was steadfast in his belief that an atomic bomb would never be able to be built. His first flaw in progress was vouching that graphite was not the best moderator for uranium. Therefore, the Germans continued to use heavy water as their moderator, and this helped considerably slow down their progress. So it was both a mistake on Heisenberg's part, but it was also a blessing to mankind. And on the right, you can just see a German document about what this bomb would kind of look like. On the left is a real picture from this. So the Alsos mission, the Manhattan Project is the one that kind of created this Alsos mission in 1943. The Alsos mission was to investigate the progress on the German nuclear weapon. As a result of the mission, the United States caught and took a lot of German scientists as prisoners. Interestingly enough, though, Heisenberg wasn't captured until 1945, but he was involved on working on a uranium pile, which is what resulted in his need to be captured. The German scientists were very sworn to secrecy. Just kind of a quick story about how sworn to secrecy they were, sort of. The Germans tried really hard to protect their secrets, and so a scientist who was questioned, named von Weizsäcker, who we'll see a quote from later in this presentation, he eventually revealed that the documents were in a metal drum in a cesspool behind his house that the U.S. wanted. But besides this, him and the other captured scientists were then forced to intern at Farm Hall in England. And Farm Hall was completely bugged in order for high ranking US officials to kind of listen into their conversations and see what they could learn further. In the next slide, it's going to reveal some of those recordings, which were later published. So this is a written transcript between Deibner and Heisenberg that was recorded by one of the bugs in Farm Hall. Deibner, I wonder whether there are microphones installed here. Heisenberg, microphones installed? Oh no, they're not as cute as that. I don't think they know the real Gestapo methods. They're a bit old-fashioned in that respect. So in addition to just capturing integral German scientists, the Alsos mission was successful in receiving information on stores of uranium ore and other nuclear materials. In addition to these, they recovered thousands of German documents about atomic energy. Under the leadership of Heisenberg, the world was worried about the German atomic research would be far beyond anybody else just because they had so much belief in Heisenberg's ability to build this. For example, already in 1938, uranium was successfully split in Nazi Germany. Part of the Alsos mission was to destroy these German facilities, aiding in the progress of the nuclear bomb. One such plan was the following. The Flying Fortresses of the 8th Air Force proceeded to drop 2,000 tons of explosives on a German facility just north of Berlin to completely destroy it. And that was here, March 1945. So here we have two pictures. The picture on the left here is showing a document from the United States Atomic Energy Commission as a cover letter for some of the stolen German documents. This was sent after the successful end of the Alsos mission. On the right, there are also Alsos mission personnel. Here in this picture, they're dismantling a uranium machine that they found in Germany. And in the center, you can see those uranium cubes. In a second, I will show you two clips from this video. This is Edward Teller talking about Heisenberg's involvement and ideology surrounding the atomic bomb. So it's just his opinion on what Heisenberg was thinking at the time. Heisenberg in 1942 gave a lecture called The Theoretical Basis for Energy Generation from Uranium Fission. He spoke of the energetic potential of nuclear fission if it was used in the right way, and he was also the one accredited with saying that uranium-235 was key to make it successful. But even though he contributed this knowledge, Teller kind of has a different story about how uninvolved Heisenberg really wanted to be. In both these clips of Edward Teller, they're going to have a transcript to the right. Remember, he's talking about Heisenberg in these clips, and the transcript is to help you follow along.
Okay. And then he added, I am with a group working on the atomic bomb. I hope we won't succeed. I hope the Americans won't succeed either.
And then this is going to be our second clip, and your new transcript is to the right.
I have many detailed indications that Heisenberg, if he did not directly sabotage the work on the atomic bomb, he never seriously worked on it.
So we'll hear a little bit from Edward Teller later, but for now, we're going to go over the theories of Germany's failure. So there are a couple of theories as to why Germany was never successful in the creation of the atomic bomb before the United States. Germany had many factors in their favor which made it confusing. They had the raw materials they needed, booming industrial infrastructure, leading scientists in nuclear sciences were helping with the creation, and it was the birthplace of modern physics. So the three theories we'll discuss, I kind of self-named the morality theory, the miscalculation theory, and the misinformed history theory. The morality theory is one that Heisenberg backed himself. He believed that the German scientists working on the bomb, including himself, found that it kind of violated their morals. Therefore, many of those assigned to the project, both consciously and unconsciously, tried to slow that progress and eventually altogether stop the production of the bomb. This was because many feared what would happen if Hitler had an atomic bomb in his possession. The miscalculation theory is backed by General Leslie Groves from the United States. He believes that the Germans miscalculated many important components of building an atomic bomb. This includes things like the amount of fissionable material needed for it. There was also a lack of understanding of the makings of an atomic bomb in general. Finally, there's the misinformed history theory, which recently uncovered evidence to support its claim. As recently as 2011, 126,000 barrels of nuclear waste were uncovered within an abandoned mine in Germany. This theory states that the German research efforts were much further along than history gave credit for. For example, it is theorized that Daimler even ended up running a nuclear test in 1945. August 6, 1945. Hiroshima, while bustling with life, is completely annihilated by late morning by a not German, but United States built atomic bomb. People at the epicenter are vaporized, bodies instantly burnt, people radiation poisoned, many children become orphans in a matter of seconds, and others slowly die weeks and weeks after. What Heisenberg once did not think was even possible had now become a weapon of mass destruction and evil. Hiroshima, once the happy home to many, was now flattened. The life within it turned to dust. Invisible radiation of the environment causing even more destruction on top of the already flattened town. It was now lifeless. The everlasting effects past this day, some could say, were unforeseeable. However, as soon as the world attempted to harness the massive energy of an element, there was but one deadly ending that could have been expected. Hiroshima today is as rebuilt as it can be. It has a beautiful skyline, which starkly opposes the ruffle seen in the previous picture. The city is now built on broken families torn apart by death, a story of wartime, and the ashes of the old town rest underneath those skyscrapers. So what did Heisenberg think when the United States dropped the atomic bomb he deemed not possible? While the conversations were still being tapped in Farms Hall, Otto Hahn was informed of the atomic bomb being dropped on Hiroshima by the United States. The three captured scientists had the following conversation. Weisacker: I think it's dreadful of the Americans to have done it. I think it is madness on their part. Heisenberg: one can't say that. One could equally well say that's the quickest way of ending the war. Hahn: that's what consoles me. I was consoled when, I believe it was Weisacker, said that there was now this uranium. I found that in my institute too, this absorbing body which made the thing impossible consoled me, because when they said at one time one could make bombs, I was shattered. Weisacker: I would say that, at the rate we were going, we would not have succeeded during this war. Hahn: yes. Weisacker: it was a very cold comfort to think that one is personally in a position to do what other people would be able to do one day. Even here, it is clear that Heisenberg continues to keep a most neutral standpoint out loud, even though people like Edward Teller, who we heard from, are convinced he purposely did not give his all to making the atomic bomb. So, to further prove Heisenberg's ideology surrounding the bomb, Edward Teller can attest to what was published from the farm hall recorded conversations I've read to you. Again, the transcript will be on the right for you to follow along once I get to the right part.
I would like to finish. And Heisenberg said about atomic bombs some of things which clearly prove that he did not think about the subject. They were told in August 1945 that we dropped an atomic bomb, and the Germans didn't believe it. And then Heisenberg told them, perhaps they did, and explained to them how the atomic bomb worked, wrongly so. A point about which I am very proud, because the mistake that Heisenberg then made, I made a few years earlier when I was starting to think about it, and found out within a few months that it was wrong. That Heisenberg should make the same mistake gives me pleasure. But it shows in the case of the excellent intelligence of Heisenberg that he never seriously tried to work on the subject.
Edward Teller here is trying to convey that he is first and foremost grateful for the errors made by Heisenberg, which set Germany on the wrong path toward an atomic bomb. However, secondly, his incorrect account of how an atomic bomb would have had to be built by the United States revealed that he really did not put all that much of his strength into actually understanding and building the bomb for Germany. Teller did not believe his heart was in it, the same as many other Germans who were also working on that bomb. In the end, the true intentions of Heisenberg in relation to the atomic bomb may never be fully revealed. He stood as neutral as possible on the subject, always with an opposing argument for either opinion. However, as Teller spoke of, it is quite possible that his disinterest in an atomic bomb may have helped stop Germany to get a grip on it first. Werner Heisenberg was a very interesting man who acclimated a lot of awards over his lifetime. But I think his greatest achievement for mankind may have been him doing nothing at all in this case. These are the sources I used. I encourage anyone who has not read up on the great Werner Heisenberg to do so. There are so many interesting facts and stories that couldn't possibly fit into the parameters of a short presentation. Thank you so much for listening.